ToonGrin.
Well, I gave you my thoughts on the best adventures of this crime-solving pooch, but now it's time to flip that positivity switch and list the worst of the worst of one of my dearly loved childhood cartoons. This is the Top 10 Worst Scooby-Doo Movies. Number 10. Scooby-Doo meets the Boob Brothers. Starting off the list is what I consider to be the first technically bad Scooby-Doo film in the franchise. While a lot of its faults can be glossed over through the time period it was made in, and the fact that a lot of its animation flubs are Hanna-Barbera staples, I just can't ignore the overabundance of side plots, the crap pacing, and the unbelievably blunt exposition. Yes, Scrappy, we understand the clues and answers. You don't have to explain them 3 times every time we come across the mystery portion of the flick. While I'll admit it's a bit harsh to place Boob Brothers on the list, as its quality can't help but be hindered by being outdated, I think a spot on the list gives this film a lot more goodwill than ending up in the pile of forgettable mediocrity. So for being the first bad and now outdated Scooby-Doo movie, Boob Brothers meets up at the number 10 spot.
Like this is just too much!
Number 9. Chill Out Scooby-Doo. Well, time to stick a hand in that very same pile of forgettable mediocrity, as now I get to talk about the What's New Scooby-Doo movies. These were the movies that were most recognized for having animation and story writing just on par with the TV show. Oh wait, not just on par, I mean these were all usually just movie-long episodes of the show. Results of this were either clever experiments like Samurai Sword and Goblin King, or retreading nothingness like 2 other movies on this list, and Chill Out. Chill Out Scooby-Doo is just an episode of What's New Scooby-Doo, where the gang visits the Himalayas stretched out over an hour-and-a-half long running time. You'd think with the extra time they put more effort into actually expanding their scope, rather than just expanding the setting. Its only definable difference amongst the other What's New movies is that for the first half, Shaggy and Scooby are by themselves, which we hadn't seen since the 80s movies. But having a definable trait that was soon overshadowed by Goblin King a few years later doesn't save the film from being just a tired paint-by-number Scooby-Doo movie. So this chilly adventure is frozen at number 9.
Like I think Scoob and I are about to go from frequent flyers to frequent criers!
Number 8. Big Top Scooby-Doo. You know what's really remarkable? Taking a fun, quirky series like Scooby-Doo, putting them in a colorful circus, and then making the most bland, lifeless, paint-by-number Scooby-Doo movie possible. Yes, despite all the advantages, Big Top falls short, namely in a lot of story areas. Think about how I praise Boob Monster Man for its clever interaction between gang and suspects, and then make all that boring, tired, predictable, and cliched. Well, at least all the werewolves in the movie have long, flowing Fabio hair. Oh, did I say at least? I meant that looked stupid on these otherwise cool-looking monsters. But whatever, at least it's just mediocre bad. Not like there's any scenes that are actually worth mentioning.
Dude, can I borrow your shades?
I'm out! What else is there to say? But for this colorfully toothless circus romp, they get the spotlight at number 8.
Oh good, you're still a dog.
And you're still a jerk.
Number 7. Scooby-Doo Music of the Twilight, I Mean Vampire. Scooby-Doo and musicals don't really mix all that well. I liked Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood because thankfully it had a fun, campy story along with campy musical numbers, but Music of the Vampire has all the cardinal sins of bad Scooby-Doo story writing, stupid choices from the characters, convenient misunderstandings, and a dumb-looking pig-faced monster. I'm sorry, this is just unbelievably dumb-looking. But hey, with just that, this would be another mediocre, forgettable Scooby-Doo movie, right? Wrong. Because this movie also has some stale, stock musical numbers to compound everything into slow monotony. None of the songs are ear-bleedingly bad though, but their blunt expositional use becomes just draining, sucking the energy away from the actual song and making the movie feel slower than it should be. What really nails this point home is that I've now listened to the song removed from the rest of the movie, and they were better off for it. If your songs are coming off as hindrances, maybe go back to the drawing board for them. Other than that, the mystery is pretty standard. It's just the aesthetics of the setup and location that get under my skin. And when you get right down to it, Music of the Vampire is instantly forgettable. That just might be the movie's biggest failing. So for this forgettable and irritating musical, it gets to sing its way to lucky number 7.
I'm gonna have to say thanks, but no. Points for trying, though.
Number 6. Scooby-Doo Adventures: The Mystery Map. Hey, do you like puppets? Do you like a pup named Scooby-Doo? Would you like a movie that mixes those two things together? That sort of thinking is what got us this boring experiment to begin with. Framed like 2 episodes of a pup named Scooby-Doo sewn together, the Mystery Map is just a disappointing failure. Because really, look at these puppets, these settings, they look fantastic. And I did enjoy a pup named Scooby-Doo, so this movie should be right up my nostalgic alley. But what kills the movie is its paint-drying slow pacing, speaking its dialogue and exposition like Dora the Explorer would to her audience. And the actual framing of the 2 episodes sewn together is like watching the same episode twice. It's just a snooze fest, and when you don't even take full advantage of the nostalgia of a pup named Scooby-Doo, it's like the movie sabotages itself. Like, where was Red Herring in this special if you wanted to appeal to those fans and those fans' kids? So I guess I recommend this movie as a good sleep aid for kids. And for that, The Felt Adventure snoozes at number 6.
Okay.
I don't know about this.
Number 5. Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. You really gotta hand it to them. For the transition from the stunning Mook animation movies to the What's New movies was flawless. And by flawless, I certainly mean, oh my god! But unlike Be Cool, where it had an expansive setting, the treat of just Shaggy and Scooby starring, and a suspect callback character, who the hell wanted this guy back? Legend of the Vampire is nothing but an hour-and-a-half long What's New Scooby-Doo episode. There is no difference in the pacing between an episode of that show and this movie. And that's bad, as the TV show pacing makes this mystery of these stupid-looking Australian vampires take forever. Like, the biggest stupidity of this flick is that it takes 48 minutes for the gang to finally investigate Vampire Rock, where they know that's where the vampires have been said to come from. Why wasn't that the first place they investigated? Oh right, Scooby and the gang were busy being a rock band, and we get a cameo from the Hex Girls. Piss off! If this movie was shrunken down into an episode of What's New, that would be fine. But as it stands, Legend of the Vampire is not only the first What's New Scooby-Doo movie, but my 5th worst Scooby-Doo movie on this list. Plus, stop referencing the Fantasia Devil, you dim-witted Australian bloodsucker. You are nowhere near as cool. Number 4. Scooby-Doo, the 2002 live-action movie. A favorite choice to put on most worst Scooby-Doo flicks lists, which might have you asking, where are the other 2 direct-to-DVD live-action prequel movies? Well, honestly, those movies are so meatless and generic, they're too forgettable to get any strong reaction. But, if you've seen my Cartoon Corner review of this movie, it gets a reaction. Ah! Tone it down, me. But it's true, there are so many annoying things about this movie, not limited to idiotic character choices, dumb monster designs, deleting key story scenes, and Freddie Prinze Jr. The whole tone of the movie is all over the place, unsure if it wants to appeal to nostalgia of older fans or pander to the impressionable younger generation, which ends up with the movie pleasing neither. I do shamelessly admit I have a soft spot for the movie, and I don't have such a venomous hate for it like the review would purport me to have. But I liked this movie more when it was called Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. You cheap rehashing sacks of crap. So for this annoying rehash, it reboots its way to the number 4 spot. Now, to just make us all feel better...
See?
Number 3. Scooby-Doo in Where's My Mummy? Ah, the memories. The original Cartoon Corner review really lays out everything wrong with this flick, but to boil it down, the whole mystery is based on a completely flimsy plot point that creates a character-based plot hole, which makes the whole movie annoyingly contrived and pointless. It's all based around the Velma being the monster plot. Now, this can be a good plot twist. The same plot point was used in Scooby-Doo Franken-Creepy to great effect. The difference being is that Velma willingly chose to deceive her friends in Where's My Mummy? Now, any confident writer given this movie's setup would do what is done in this movie, have Velma deceive her friends to protect them. However, deceiving them to the point where her friends are nearly killed on several occasions and cause a full-on war between two factions, that's just stupid and makes Velma come off very badly. A potential fix would be to have the gang captured by the Mummy Army, Velma reveals herself, and the whole gang work together to get rid of the remaining treasure hunters. That feels more in step with the characters of Scooby-Doo. The movie just contrives ways for it to continue on, and really would have worked much better as a What's New Scooby-Doo episode. Too bad there wasn't already a What's New Scooby-Doo episode set in Egypt. Whoopsies. And turns out that episode is far better than this movie. Double whoopsies. So for fumbling so hard and making Velma come off out of character in the worst possible way, Where's My Mummy is wrapped up at number 3. No! Number 2. Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Pandering piece of crap. I've had many friends come to me when we discuss Scooby-Doo, and when comparing to live-action movies, they say they prefer Monsters Unleashed because it felt like it kept in step with the original goofy tone of Scooby-Doo. I can see where that comes from, but I don't know. If it wanted to go for a real, genuine in-tone feel, why does it still have all the stupid fart jokes and weird adult humor? If it's closer to the feel of the original show, why have the monsters been dumbed down to meathead-sounding morons and some monsters completely misrepresented from the original cartoon? To me, Monsters Unleashed is exactly like the first movie, an obligatory cash grab piggybacking off an idea that the Mook animation movies did far better. But while the first live-action movie tried and failed to be its own thing, this piece of crap tries so hard to appeal to our nostalgia, it's pandering. I can understand that this movie connects with you on a nostalgic tone level, but for me, Monsters Unleashed gets its rightful spot as the number 2 piece of annoying, nostalgia-abusing piece of garbage.
We're screw-ups.
And the number 1 worst Scooby-Doo movie is... Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico. Oh, this is getting a Cartoon Corner treatment someday, don't worry about that. But here's a brief overview of everything wrong. Animation slow, boring, monotonous. Art style overly bright and unpolished compared to Legend of the Vampire, which came out the same year. Acting. Astonishingly, the entire cast gives the most stalest performance I've ever heard from them. Heather North playing Daphne in particular was styrofoam engaging to listen to.
Imaginary Bigfoot? Or big scary monster that could bite your head off? You decide.
The mystery? Complete garbage, as instead of following a clear through line of the mystery, it chooses to be a sightseeing tour. The other What's New movies did the exact same thing, however they linked the sights to their mysteries. This did not. And for a movie that's supposed to be teaching us the wonders of Mexico, there are quite a few insulting inaccuracies, from history to their culture, and finally their folklore. This is the movie's Chupacabra, and I'll be fair, that some reports of the El Chupacabra have stated that it looks like a Bigfoot-like creature. but the overwhelming majority depicts either a reptilian monster or a malformed wild dog. Guess that was too scary though, so we got a purple Bigfoot with stock roar sound effects. This is just the laziest Scooby-Doo movie I've ever seen. It gives off such a feeling of going through the motions. It makes the whole movie not only boring, but kind of insulting to watch. To think, this was the best they did for a Mexican legend like the Chupacabra. Monster of Mexico is the worst Scooby-Doo movie, and I just really hope that no other Scooby-Doo movie tries to top it. Hi, Whyboy back again with just a slight change to the top 10 list since seeing Lego Scooby-Doo Haunted Hollywood. It sucked. Consider that now -1 on the list, as the pairing with Monster of Mexico. As Monster of Mexico may be insultingly stupid, Haunted Hollywood is torturously boring. If you want to hear me go into details about that alongside NERO Angeles, then check out our watch and stuff review of it right here or in the description below. And if you want to get some more positivity in your viewing schedule, then be sure to check out the top 10 best Scooby-Doo movies by following the link on screen or in the description below too. Thank you for watching, folks. Be sure to leave a like and a comment telling everyone what your worst Scooby-Doo movie is. That's it for me. Until the next Scooby-Doo related review, I'll see you next time. Peace!